Michael is in court to claim £100, which he says is owed to him after his friend lost a bet. Defendant Thomas says he was intoxicated and doesn't remember making the bet. Therefore, he owes nothing.
Is it Michael?
Yes, it is, Your Honour.
That's a relief. I thought I had a young Alan Yentob for a minute. And Thomas.
Yes, correct.
And the two of you are friends, correct?
Yes.
Now, Michael, who are you with today?
I'm here with my brother David.
Hello, David. How are you?
Wonderful, thank you, Judge.
Do stand up. Thank you for coming. I'm going to seek your assistance, step forward, in order not just to present the Open University on BBC Two late at night, but also to assist me in due course with some of the substance of this case, because it requires a mild degree of expertise. Understood?
Yes.
This is a case which, although not worth very much, is fundamentally a case of principle. Isn't that right, Thomas?
Yes.
That's certainly true as far as you're concerned, Michael. Now, what's that a picture of, please, Michael?
That is a picture of the three of us playing each other competitively at the game Mario Kart, a kart racing game.
Right, OK. And how long would you be sat playing that?
An embarrassing amount of time.
Point of it is that at some point you were outside, which is an unusual moment for all of you. In fact, you visited the Glastonbury Festival, true?
That is correct.
You were having a marvellous time. Were you listening to the music, or please don't tell me you took one of these games consoles along with you to the Glastonbury Festival?
I wish.
There's
You
nowhere to plug one in, I don't think.
Right, well, that's good. So you were in the tent together and having fun. And at some point, there was discussion about a particular game. What was the game, please, Michael?
The game was Dark Souls.
Now, you know about this game, do you?
Of it, yes.
Of it. What's special about this particular game?
It's incredibly difficult.
Well, what do you mean by it being difficult?
It takes a lot of dedication and learning and commitment of time.
What exactly, as far as you are aware, is involved in it, David? Do you know about it?
Yes, because I had been playing the game. I'd been playing through the game.
And had you finished it?
No.
Now, you were having this discussion. You were aware it was very difficult. So, as I understand it, Michael, you made a suggestion to Thomas, did you not?
I believe that David was talking about how difficult the game was. Thomas was fairly merry at this point in the festival.
Well, fairly merry is a euphemism for what?
Drunk?
Drunk. How many had you had to drink, would you say?
I've absolutely no idea.
That's probably the right answer. Certainly enough that he was inebriated, yes? Had you been drinking too?
I believe so, yes.
And there was a discussion. And what was the nature of the discussion, Michael?
Thomas said, I could do that. That's very easy. I'll be able to do it on the hardest difficulty setting. Trash talking, basically.
Doing what?
Trash talking.
Like being cocky?
I can do it.
Oh, I see,
Easy.
being cocky. Point of it is, as far as you're concerned, he was trash-talking. There you are at the Glastonbury Festival, correct? Having a marvellously splendid time.
He forgot to put suntan lotion on.
Who did?
Tom.
Well, it usually rains there. That's perfectly reasonable. Why? Oh, is he burnt
Yeah,
there?
he's bright red.
Well, I was going to say it's more of a sort of orange hue. It looks like a sort of, I don't know, a sort of in-betweeners tribute act. I used to do international law, you know. So there you are. You say to Thomas, you can't finish this because it's terribly difficult, and you say, OK, let's have a wager, right? What was the basis of the wager?
The basis of the wager was that if he was able to do it within a year, at the next Glastonbury Festival, he would have to pay £100 for me and my brother to go on a bar crawl around all the various establishments at Glastonbury, and he'd have to watch us as we had a great time, and he sat there miserable that he didn't fulfil the bet.
A marvellous bet. Now, ordinarily you would know that that wouldn't be enforceable, but you attempted to do something, as I understand it. You drafted some kind of agreement, am I right?
Yes.
Have you ever seen this document?
Yes.
I will finish the game before the next Glastonbury, or I will pay David £100. And it's got your name, 2014 Glastonbury, and it says you have 101 days left. Referring to you, correct?
Yes.
When this document was prepared, did you sign it?
No.
Were you drunk when it was prepared?
I didn't even say that.
Well, what exactly did you say?
Well, I certainly didn't say that.
Well, what did you say?
Michael or David, when they were discussing about this game, they said, oh, I bet you can't finish this game. Now, me being quite intoxicated, a bit of misplaced arrogance, said, yes, I can. And then they mentioned that bet and said, OK, I'll shake on that. But then I totally forgot about it. Even David, who I shook the deal with, he forgot about it.
Who reminded you of it?
The ambulance chaser, Michael.
The what?
The ambulance chaser.
What do you mean he's an ambulance? Is he a lawyer?
Because the bet is between me and David. Michael intruded. He had nothing to do with this.
Is that right? Was the initial agreement between you and him?
I can confirm that, yes.
Right, OK. So why are you getting involved with this, Michael?
Because I believe that the bet was for both of us. He said he would pay because David...
So you were going to be a beneficiary?
He wouldn't be able to have £100
Who drafted this, you or David?
I put together that document.
Right. Not the person with whom the initial deal was made?
They forgot the bet had even happened.
Just wait a moment, I'm about to turn around and say something to you. You're still here?
Coming next.
Within the universe of the game, though, you need lots of armour to withstand the threats that you face. He would get hit and die immediately with just a loincloth.
With just a loincloth?
Tonight's the night. Bossa. Pleasure is très serious.
Just Cause 3.
Rustlers! Satisfy your hunger, monkey!
At Morrison's, we believe that fresh is always best. So we make sure our Christmas vegetables are from British farms.
Delivered fresh, every day.
It's for real now.
Fresh.
It's why our British ribs of beef are so tender. Fresh Norwegian salmon.
From the fjords. It's why we use fresh British cream in our delicious desserts, and why our chocolate chip panettone is made from scratch in store.
This one.
Fresh from Morrison's. Make it a magical Christmas at Morrison's. And at Morrison's this Christmas, this succulent British turkey crown is £7 per kilo.
Michael is in court to claim £100, which he says is owed to him after his friend lost a bet. Defendant Thomas says he was intoxicated and doesn't remember making the bet. Therefore, he owes nothing.
Did you ever download this particular game?
No.
What's funny about that?
He didn't even attempt to do it.
Right, you didn't attempt to do it. And so, who reminded you that you'd entered into this agreement?
Michael.
Right, and what did you say?
Well, if you look at the document there, I posted it on his wall, and he still had his...
You mean on his Facebook wall?
On his Facebook wall.
Didn't show up at his house with it? Right.
His misplaced arrogance was still there, and I don't believe he was intoxicated when he replied. If you on the document it says, no sweat.
I see. And that's true, in fact, that there is subsequent documents. There's some Facebook communication. A whole Facebook campaign develops, right, where they're goading you to try and complete this because you've made a whole series of, they say, arrogant claims that you can complete this game, correct?
Yes.
And it says, and this is true, and it's a fair support for his assertion, it says, didn't he say he'd manage it without consulting a guide too? Not relating to those two, but speaking to those two. And you say, no sweat. In other words, confirming the agreement to some extent, correct?
Yes.
Then there's this other person who's not here, who's posted a picture, the one that's over there, saying he should start in the, inverted commas, the deprived class. Let me tell you, I look at that gentleman in the middle, and there's no part of me that, when grappling for an adjective, thinks, goodness, doesn't that gentleman look deprived?
Within the universe of the game, though, you need lots of armour to withstand the threats that you face. He would get hit and die immediately with just a loincloth.
With just a loincloth? Excuse me. So he's deprived?
Yes, of armour.
What happens when you get all of your armour? What do you become then?
You become someone who can withstand the threats that the game throws up.
You didn't follow through with the bet, correct?
No.
Why not?
One university came around, like dissertation work around about that time.
What were you studying?
International politics.
And you had to complete it, and so you didn't have time, right? Did you finish your degree?
Yes.
How did you get on?
2-1.
And so you had to work quite hard to get that, correct?
Yes.
I see, he didn't download it. You say you can enforce this, correct?
Well, a degree is easier than Dark Souls.
What about the two of you? Are you still playing games with each other?
Yes.
What a thrill. How old are you now, Michael?
26.
Still playing games with a card?
Very skillful.
What does your girlfriend think of that?
I don't have a girlfriend.
Oh, Lord. Michael! David and Thomas. Michael, actually, you tried to do something vaguely sensible, which was to formalise a bet which was made between your brother and Thomas. The problem was, at the time the agreement was made, it's quite clear to me Thomas was drunk, and that agreement wasn't between you. So this document here is retrospective and wouldn't apply. It's not enforceable. In any event, even if I did construe there was some kind of legal agreement between you, the problem you would have is that nearly all bets between people are not legally enforceable. They're not enforceable because people don't anticipate that in the event the other party doesn't pay, you can bring that matter to court. Otherwise, this court and other courts would be filled with completely moronic people. And for that reason alone, your case is entirely, without any difficulty whatsoever, dismissed. That's the award of this court.
Michael's case was dismissed, and he was awarded nothing by the court.
Okay, guys, do you want to follow me out?
Let's find out how both parties felt about their day in court.
Obviously, it's been a successful day in terms of me being cleared. I was harassed at Glastonbury and afterwards about fulfilling this bet.
We thought that we were going to come here, that Judge Rinder would throw the book at Thomas, but unfortunately, Judge Rinder seems to think that our gentleman's agreement was rubbish. I'm very, very annoyed that you have managed to get away with not paying this bet and not honour it.
I won't make a bet with David or Michael again unless there's someone else there and there's a piece of paper and both our signatures are to that statement.
I'm actually quite annoyed with him because you tried to throw me under the bus.
I did.
I brought him along as my moral support, And then he says he made the bet with Tom, even though the bet was for all of us.
I've learnt my lesson. I'm not making any bets again.
Rinder has convinced us that maybe we need to put these childish things behind us and focus on becoming more successful and well-rounded human beings.